If you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. Want to encourage you to go back to the beginning, start in session 1, work through the different sessions, and please, if you have any questions, if you're on our Facebook group, please tag me so that I can see it. And also, you should be able to find each of the sessions under the guides if you are on the Facebook group. If you're watching us live or replay on YouTube, go to the playlist and then start at session 1. You won't be able to tag me. You should be able to tag BookShark. We'll hopefully get those questions answered for you as you come across the questions. I am getting really excited for the beginning of your school year. You might have already started. You might be waiting for after Labor Day, which is literally just 2 weeks from now. I cannot believe it. We just took one of our oldest, we have twins, one of them to school this weekend. So she got all set up in her apartment. She is a junior this year. You guys, when I tell you that time flies, I am living it, okay? From a student who homeschooled, which feels like lifetimes ago, to a mom who did homeschool her children, to having now 3 in college, it will fly by. So what I don't want to see is for you to get overwhelmed or discouraged as you begin this journey. So whether you've been homeschooling or you're just new to BookShark, it can be very tempting to feel as though as your first couple weeks or first couple days, first couple hours get started, it's not going as planned. Expectations are high, actual output is low, and you may feel like, did I make the biggest mistake of my life? I want to encourage you to trust the process. You did not make the biggest mistake. There are hundreds of thousands of families before you who have chosen to homeschool, who have, like myself, graduated, college, contributing members of society, and then second generation seeing my girls in the same light. So exciting. I do want to provide a quick update. I had previously said that my youngest, who is a senior in high school, was not doing any BookShark this year. And I think with the introduction of our brand new government and econ, we are going to get started as a family working through the government. So in this level in particular, very unique, you have 18 weeks of one subject, which is government, and 18 weeks of the second subject, which is economics. My daughter's already done a couple of economics courses at the community college. She's really interested in that. So I thought maybe we would just do the 18 weeks, the first semester of BookShark's new high school level of government. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. I actually told my husband I think we're going to all do it together so that we can be well informed about our government and the origins, the systems, and how it should properly run. And a lot of times, I don't know if you guys watch any of these fun shows. It used to be, I'm going to date myself. Jay Leno used to do jaywalking when he would just stop people on the street and ask them questions. I'm sure you've seen reels, you've seen videos, you've seen news where they stop and talk to people. And so many people don't even know the 3 branches of government. So I am going to make sure that my husband and I are just as well educated as our daughter, as we have start and finish up this final year. We're already starting to talk about her moving out next year. So time, make it stop. But at the same time, so proud to see the process getting finished with our older girls as they are finishing up. So the one that we dropped off this weekend is a junior in the nursing program. She's thriving, and her twin is a senior, and she is finishing up. And she'll be done this year, and she'll be a college graduate and thinking about what she's going to be doing next. And so I just say that to encourage you again, your day, your expectations, the idea of homeschool may not be working out how you felt it should, or this idea of, I've watched these videos and mine doesn't look like that. Guys, scrap all that, okay? Get your working binder, get a schedule, get your calendar, and just start step by step, one day at a time, one subject at a time. Now, that leads me into the poll that I put out on our Facebook page about a week ago. And I had asked, what is keeping you up at night about homeschooling this year? It's a question that I've asked in the past. I just did a few options because I wanted to get a general consensus, a generalized, some groupings of what are keeping us homeschool parents up at night. Not overwhelmingly the majority, but 41% who answered the poll said finding enough hours in the day. Mm, I think any parent, any human feels that way a lot of the time. So I don't think that's necessarily specific to homeschool, although I do think homeschool can exasperate that feeling of I was already struggling to get daily tasks done. How am I going to educate on top of that? So I want to pause right there and just remind you that BookShark schedules it out for you. We have those daily time requirements. And like anything in the beginning, it's probably going to take a little bit more time as you get into a groove, into a routine, wrap your head around how the program actually works. So give yourself grace, build in that time. Maybe you're doing level F and it says it should be taking 4 to 6 hours and it's taking you 8 hours to do. Take a deep breath. Know that some things take a little bit more time because they're new. You're starting out, you're trying to get a rhythm. Also, separate maybe see what's taking you the longest and see if you can adjust that a little bit. So, by that, I mean, when I first started homeschooling with BookShark, and yes, I did do level F with my twins, we did the read aloud at night as a family. So that portion of the history, reading with history, was done outside of traditional school time in my house, which was during the day when my husband was at work. Then we would read at night as a kind of a wind down routine for our girls. And that's when we did our read alouds. So then my husband sometimes joined in so he could be a part of what was happening. He would listen to the story. I will say now, all of these years later, almost 10 years later, my girls and I typically still read before bed, which science tells you that's a great way to wind down, get out from in front of a screen, you don't want that blue light or one of the lights disrupting your REM cycle. So think about if you feel like you're spending too much time and you're not having enough time in the day, take the read aloud, choose to do it as a family at night instead of what you maybe would normally do. And I know in our house that was just turn on the TV. So think about that. Think about different things that you can do you can take it outside of what you feel like traditional school should look like and make it part of your lifestyle, of your home. Maybe your read aloud is done in the morning when people are just waking up and starting to have breakfast. And again, a typical routine in my house is people gravitate toward their phone while they're eating breakfast. So if you are trying to limit devices or you're just trying to kind of come out of that, they call that the doom loop. Even for kids, I'm guilty of it. My children are guilty of it. A great way to do that is to start with your read aloud in the morning. It's engaging, it's fun, so it doesn't feel like you can get things done at the same time. Another trick that I absolutely loved and used a lot, if they had the audiobook available to me free, I found a lot of stuff through my library. If you have an Audible, a lot of the books that we use are recorded in some way in an audible form, then put it on when you're driving, put it on when you're cooking, put it on when you guys are maybe just grab the basket of laundry and everyone sit down. And so you can be doing a chore and still getting the schoolwork done. There is no rule that says you have to read every single word through your own voice. You can use audiobooks, and it's amazing to kind of give yourself a break, still stay engaged with the learning, and still get things done at the same time. I'm a huge multitasker. So just want to say, if feel like you're afraid it's keeping you up at night, or you are finding that's taking a lot of time during the day, more so than it should, more so past like, okay, we're just trying to figure it out, then reach out to our advisors. We'd love to talk to you guys about some ways that you can tweak it. I don't want this keeping you up at night. That's really what I'm trying to say. Don't let it keep you up. There are too many things in this world to keep us up at night. Don't let this be one of them. Close second at 33% was getting everyone motivated. Oh, okay. True story. You're just not going to be able to motivate everybody all at the same time, every day, at the same intensity. It's just not possible. You have different personalities. You have different sleep cycles. You have different preferences. You have, things that some kids going to want to keep reading in history. The other kid's not going to want to listen to history and they just want to do science. You have all of these factors. I would say, in my experience, Keep yourself motivated. You keep excited. It's okay if they're dragging their feet. It's okay if they've got a grumpy attitude. It's okay that they're not jumping up and down so excited every day that you're going to impart to them great wisdom. I always say that homeschooling is like parenting on steroids. You would have these issues regardless because we're parents. These are children. There's holes in the frontal lobe. Everything's just kind of dropping through. There's big emotions, and rational thought really isn't always there. Control what you can control, which is yourself. And I'm preaching to the choir, and I understand that that's not always easy to do. But if you're worried about keeping everybody motivated, I would say focus on what you can control and your motivation. And habits, they take time to build. And your kids may not be super excited that they have to do math every day, or that they have to practice their reading, or they're working on their spelling. You know what? I'm not super excited about making dinner every night. There are things in our world that we have to do that don't always bring us joy. Now, I will say what brings me joy is the finished product, is sitting down at the table with my family, enjoying the meal, talking about our day, coming together, sharing what happened. Those are the things that I get joy and fulfillment from. So it's not necessarily the cooking part. It's certainly not the planning part. It's certainly not thinking of it all up and going grocery shopping. But all of those things are what get me to my goal. And I want you to remember that in homeschool. All of the subjects, all of the days, all of the assignments, all of the recommended reading, that is going to get you to the goal of well-educated children who can think critically and who are lifelong learners. So while I may not like having to think about what everyone's going to eat every meal of every day of every week, I do delight in the fact that we are a healthy family, that we do have our meals together. It's something now that we have children that live outside the home that come back. It's one of the things that they love to flex on with their friends is that we had that meal. I want you to think about that same thing as you're homeschooling. You're not always going to be motivated. They're not always going to be motivated. Stick to the steps, use the guide, be creative when you have the creative juices flowing, but when you just don't feel it, follow the steps. Don't reinvent the wheel. And that's what will keep you guys going one day at a time, one step at a time. Now, 20%, perhaps they were staying up at night to think about were they doing enough academically? That one I can say with certainty is YES exclamation point. With BookShark, you do not have to worry about the academics. Our rigorous curriculum is like a buffet. So whether you're doing all of it or you're doing bits and pieces, you're doing what fits right now, you want to add more that we offer, it's all there, you guys. You do not have to worry about it. One of the daughters that I had mentioned before who's finishing up this year, she's actually looking at law school, and she went and took the LSAT, and she doesn't know how she did. We don't know how she did yet. And I'm not here to make that like a brag. All I'm saying is she felt confident enough to do it. So there is enough. It's not about checking the boxes so much, but it is about having competent children that grow up into critical thinking adults. BookShark does that for you. I can guarantee that. If you work the steps, you use your IG, you do the work, it's all there. It's not going to feel like, I think about weightlifting, and you're not always going to see the muscles being built day after day after day. But after time, after the process, after building the habits, after sticking to it, then you will see the muscles. And that is exactly what it is. Same with homeschooling. So don't worry about doing enough academically. If you're using a curriculum like BookShark, you're watching these videos, you're getting prepped, you're getting all the information you can to do it, to implement this curriculum properly in your home. You don't need to worry about the academics. You're covered, I promise. Okay, and then a very small percentage was 6% came in at teaching what you don't know. And again, these last two, I feel like easy. BookShark's got you. You don't have to know it all. You need to just prep on Sunday. You need to pay attention to what's coming up. You need to have a general idea when you're looking through those vocabulary words, when you are looking at the mapping. You're learning right alongside your kids. You're demonstrating how to be a lifelong learner, and that goes way further than being a certified teacher in my book any day. I hope that that helps you feel a little bit more confident. I don't want you guys staying up at night and worrying about all these things. Now, granted, we're parents. It's kind of in our DNA. This is what we do. We tend to worry. There's so much more in this life to worry about. Don't worry about all of these things that are out of your control. Take it one day at a time. Follow the guide. Ask for help. Look to your community. We are here. We are living proof that this works, not only for me personally, but then to see it specifically with BookShark and see where my kids are now. I can say with utter confidence, this will work. And yeah, just focus on like the why you're doing it, and remember those reasons, and just jump in, get started. So excited for you guys. I will be back on Wednesday to talk about our final session of outings, socialization, and I'm going to sprinkle in some of this work at home, how you're going to get all that done. All right, you guys, I hope you have a fabulous Monday, and I will see you Wednesday. Bye-bye.